Welcome to UNMUZZLED CHAT. Folks, I say I'm excited a lot, but I'm thoroughly excited about this particular episode. It has been a long time coming. Tanya has, in fact, been really patient with me regarding a solution that was revolutionary for her, many other individuals with many other ailments in this life, even Lyme disease, as horrific as it is, and have had great breakthrough. So I just want to breathe light, hope, and potential solutions for you in this life. We need clearer paths. We need a breath of fresh air. And we'll dive into the details as to the specifics as to kind of how things have impacted me at this point a bit, but I'm really excited to have Tanya dive more so in depth regarding this LifeWave X39 patch. And it is pretty crazy to me. For as long as I've been sick, all the doctors I've seen, everyone I've talked to, I really didn't hear about this X39 until Tanya. But since I've now heard about this product and the extreme positive benefits, I'm running into people on the streets that have it. I'm running people online. I'm running into people that have it at the doctor's office. Heck, even one of the doctor's offices that I initially inquired as I onboarded this product had some additional patches they even lent or gave to me. And it's just really exciting. It definitely is a viable option for a lot of folks. So anyway, with that being said, I'm so excited to have Tanya on UNMUZZLED Chat podcast. I consider her a dear friend at this point. We've been ping-ponging ideas and things back and forth because she has an amazing podcast called Lyme and Beyond with Tanya. And I love what she's doing over there. She's bringing in folks that have beat this horrific disease, Lyme disease, whether they're claiming remission, whether they're claiming cure. It's just really a beautiful thing because anyone that is struggling can tune into her podcast. One of those stories could very well lead to your breakthrough, or at minimum show that there is life after Lyme. And that is crucial. And I thank you, Tanya, for your hard work. I know what work goes in to these episodes, to getting these guests, to promoting and growing and trying to sound the alarm on the world stage to bring awareness, because awareness is key for us really to pave the way for so many that are like knocking on death's door or really struggling mentally, emotionally, and physically. If we can ease any of that pain, I know you're in it for the selfless reasons. And I just would love to see people join your podcast, share your podcast, because it really is a community effort that we could all build each other up. We don't need to have this famine mentality anymore. It's time we start supporting one another and things won't be so challenging in this challenging time. Anyway, that's a bit of a rant there. Tanya, I'm just excited. There's not enough good things I could say, but I'm also excited to dive into the details of this product. So welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Thanks, James. I'm doing fantastic. I'm so happy to be back on here. I appreciate your kind words, and I appreciate what you do too, right? Like you just kind of nailed it there. We're in this. It takes a village, right?
Yes.
Lyme disease is a very isolating, very hopeless type feeling of a disease. And we need to spread awareness. And like you mentioned, my podcast, Lyme and Beyond, that's what it's all about, is giving hope, right? You're going to hear these incredible stories of just despair and down and out and wanting to give up to going along their journey and then actually being able to hear that they got their life back, right?
Mm.
And during that journey, we often feel that our life is not ever going to be the same, and it's not. But let me tell you what, it's better. The other side of Lyme is so amazing. You just can't even fathom it while you're going through this journey. But take my word, and all the hundreds of guests I've had on over the last 3.5 years, that the other side's amazing, right? So we just want to give that hope, inspiration, spread information on tools, right? Like you said, not one treatment fits everyone. And so I have this amazing platform. I have practitioners on. We talk about all sorts of things, hence the title Lyme and Beyond. It's not just Lyme. It's Lyme, it's co-infections, it's mold, it's parasites, it's candida, it's mast cell. Like it just goes on and on, right? So we just want to give this platform to people to have practitioners come on as well and talk about how they treat. Does that mean that's going to fix you? No, it doesn't. But it's a tool, right? It's a tool, it's information, it's knowledge. Tools are powerful. Knowledge is power, right? Like we need to learn what is out there. And that's what we're both doing. So it's great.
Wow. Well, I have a feeling with time, I mean, you're already big time in my eyes with what you've done with the previous doctor and the amazing guests you've had. And then even when you really branched off to hone in on your special gifts, and I know you have a lot to give. You've already landed Chris Newby, the author of the book Bitten. Wasn't she also pretty much the producer of the whole Under My Skin documentary?
Yes, she was. She was a senior producer of the world famous Lyme documentary called Under Our Skin. It was one of the first documentaries I got introduced to. Fantastic. And, that's what I mean by saying it takes a village, right?
Yes.
Like she's got a big voice. She's doing amazing things. We just want to take all these bits and pieces and all these peoples and just put it all together and just offer this huge platform of ideas and suggestions and hope.
Wow. Well, regarding my situation, let's just be unmuzzled. Let's be up front. X39, I've been hopeful. I'm still hopeful. Now, out of full transparency, I haven't been one of those miraculous breakthrough stories. That being said, it's really hard to hone in on as to how impactful it has been because I've integrated so many other things on my journey. But when I talked initially with Tanya, I did the research. She brought the receipts. She brought the science. She brought all this information. It truly became a no-brainer for me to integrate this into all the protocols I already have been doing. And I'm wearing a patch as we speak because I know this is helping on some levels. I know that there's other things in my body, I'm sure, that are kind of hindering the full breakthroughs. I mean, who's to say? But for me, at the price point, for anyone that is looking for true breakthrough, I would just say, hey, keep an open mind. Hear out this podcast, what Tanya has to say on the science and how it works. And all that being said, I'm talking too much. Let's just start, Tanya, with what this has done for you.
Thanks, James. I hate when I don't hear a miracle story, a one patch wonder, right? But it takes time. So with that, I actually want to kind of back up just a moment if I can.
Okay.
So I want to talk about stem cells. Nothing to do with the technology. I just want to talk about stem cells, right? Many listeners on here probably have Lyme disease, right? And a lot of people have used stem cell therapy as a way to to treat their Lyme. So a lot of people have heard about stem cells, but what are they, right? Like I'm going to tell you what they are and what they do. So stem cells are, we have a gazillion of them in our body, right? They are pluripotent. Okay, it's the only pluripotent cell in our body. What does that mean? That means when we are born, we have all these stem cells and they're blank cells. They're just floating around in our body, not doing anything in particular. Okay. Say that you have a broken leg. Okay. These stem cells are going to be like, oh, wow, you just broke your leg. I need to turn into an anti-inflammatory cell. Let's go burst down that inflammation. I need to turn into a bone repairing stem cell. Let's repair that bone. So that's what pluripotent means, is they're blank. They can turn into whatever cell, type of cell your body needs to heal itself. That is how stem cells work. So stem cells control and do so much with the anti-aging process, cancer, liver, kidneys, heart disease, neurological, immune disorders, like it goes on, right?
Wow.
So when we are born, all of our stem cells work. They're just there waiting for something to happen, right? Like, how does the body, the sperm, produce this embryo? It's built from stem cells, right? So when we're born, all of our stem cells work. So we're young, we have smooth skin, we heal faster, we don't have gray hair, we don't have wrinkles, we don't have ailments and aches and pains. Most of us don't have diseases, right, when we're babies, as a general rule. So the process of the stem cells is kind of the process of what God created our body, right? The aging process, and also to heal itself given the right tools. So when we are in our 30s, about 50% of our stem cells don't work anymore. They just don't. They just lay dormant in our body.
Oh,
and
wow.
by the time we're in our 60s, you're lucky if you have any of them working.
Oh, wow.
So that right there explains to you the aging process of our bodies, right? When we start turning 30, that's, especially for females, like that's kind of a lot of the times when we start worrying about like weight, like we gain weight, our hormones are all over and stuff. But that's the aging process. So when they quit working, we get gray hair, wrinkles, pains and aches and inflammation and illnesses, and our body starts shutting down because stem cells are the holy grail of healing. They are what makes our body function. And so any other listeners out there, you don't have to have Lyme disease to be interested in your stem cells, right? Because it's all part of the aging process. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to give a backdrop of what stem cells are. Why do we need them? What do they do, right? Because a lot of us don't know.
Right.
So like I mentioned before, a lot of people will treat with stem cells for Lyme disease. There's a few problems with it. One, it costs a fortune. And I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars, right? Because of the FDA, the CDC, all this, we now actually have to travel out of country to even get this.
It's unbelievable. Don't even get me started.
Right? That's a whole nother show, right?
Well, simply put, that Western medicine isn't in the business of healing. They're in the business of making money. So why would they allow things to the nature of they create healing and actual solutions? Yeah. Why would big pharma and Western medicine want that? Let's create the things and support the things that put us out of business.
Yep, exactly. So, and the other problem with treating with stem cell injections is, the expense, the travel, all of that. And also, there's no guarantee, right?
Yeah.
They can inject you with these stem cells. Is your body going to take it? Is your body going to adapt to them? Is your body going to, it's not going to make it grow new stem cells. It's only going to allow the ones they're injecting you to work. And another
Oh, wow.
huge problem with it is that those with Lyme disease, we are absolutely riddled with inflammation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have personal pictures of my ankles being like, I didn't have an ankle bone for over a decade, right? Like they're these
Wow.
big balloons. And so inflammation eat your stem cells.
No kidding.
So
Mm.
not only are we aging and they're dying off, inflammation will actually kill your stem cells. So if you're a Lyme patient and you go get stem cell injections, you have so much working against you because we have so much inflammation. So they're injecting these stem cells. Who's to say your inflammation isn't just going to eat them before your body can even adapt to them, right? So,
Right.
and that's a lot of money to spend for maybe a hope, right?
Yes.
But so what we're going to talk about is a type of a technology that can do this for us, right? Very affordable, costs the price of a cup of coffee a day. The company I'm going to talk about is called LifeWave.
Wow.
My doctor turned me on to it. Actually, this month was 3 years ago.
Wow.
And let me just say it changed my world. But I also want to say, you know, obviously I am not a doctor, right? We're not going to talk about diagnosis, treating, curing anything. What I am going to share with you is what this company is, the technology, how it works, my personal story, and a few of my good friends' story as well. All about facts, right? That's what we're all about. And again, just another tool for your toolbox because that's what's going to get us through this, right? It's not just one thing. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, put it together, wham, we're good. So going to be fun. I'm excited. I get passionate, super passionate about talking about Lyme disease. And I get super passionate talking about this technology because it's incredible.
Wow.
So the company, this year, we've been around for 20 years, right? You mentioned, why have I not heard about this? Well, I hadn't either, you know, and when I got my Lyme diagnosis, finally, after 7 years in 2015, I researched everything holistic, natural, all the stuff, right? Because at this point, I felt traditional doctors, Western medicine, literally was just going to let me die.
Right.
And I ended up bedridden. I had a caregiver. I didn't know my name. And these doctors are telling me I'm stressed, I'm depressed, it's in my head. No, it's not. Like if I would have
No.
left it to them, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And so this technology has been around 20 years. Well, the light technology has been around for eons, centuries, but this particular company has been around for 20 years. And the reason I didn't know about it is almost 5 years ago is when they created what we're calling the X39 patch. So it's many, many patches in this company, right? The first one started 20 years ago when our founder, David Schmidt, was reached out to by the Navy SEALs. And the Navy SEALs said, hey, what can I do to my troops to give them more energy to get them through these long missions? And David, being the biologist, the inventor that he is, he's like, hey, I got this. Let me figure this out. And that is how the company started with its very first patch called Energy Enhancer. And so he created this technology. The Navy SEALs ran with it. And it worked. And it was amazing. And so over the next 15 years, he has created numerous different patches using the same type of light therapy to do different things in our body. And almost like I said, 5 years ago is when this X39 patch came out. And one of the things it does is activates our stem cells. That is when all of a sudden everybody's heard about this company. It exploded, right? Because as I mentioned, stem cells are the holy grail of healing. And he just hit the nail on the head with this patch. And so that's why we're just all kind of hearing about it. Not because it's a new company, not because it's a new technology. It's the type of technology that he finally came through with. Incredible. So the company, 20 years old, we have over 90 patents. Okay. You can't just get a patent, right? Like they just don't hand those things out at the grocery store. You've got to prove that your product does what you're saying it does. And we've done that. We have done over 80 independent clinical studies. We do blind placebo treatments or clinical trials. We've done it all. We have all the science. We have all the information. It's there for you to check out. I'll mention your a website a little bit later on so people can go on and check out the science and read for themselves. So what I'm going to do now is try to explain how this technology works. So we are talking about this little tiny, I don't know if you can see it, this little tiny patch, right? People ask, how can something like this do what you're saying it does? Okay. So inside of it, you're going to see, it looks like it has like a little white gauze thing. What that is it's comprised of amino acids, structured water, salt, sugar, and it makes this crystal-like lattice. It's actually, if you looked at this under a microscope, it would be all these tiny little particles creating a matrix structure. And it is non-transdermal. Nothing is going in your body. We're going to talk about light and how does it work. So many of you may know or may think that the sun gives you vitamin D. And I can assure you, the sun does not have vitamin D to give you. What I can tell you is when you go outside into the sun sends a light wave to your body that says, hey, you're outside. Turn on your body and start making some vitamin D.
Wow.
So our body produces our own vitamin D. But
so more than giving you it's triggering it within your body.
Exactly. And that's when I said light therapy has been around for centuries, right? There you have it. The sun's been around for as long as I've been around, right? So the sun sends a light wave to our body.
Now that's just from vitamin D. That's vitamin D only specifically, but it's I think I'm starting to grasp.
Okay.
What's been created.
Example, I will share is, and I don't know why, hopefully I'm not the only person who ever did this, but when I was a little girl, I would go outside in the sun with a mirror and I would kind of move it around a little bit and you would see like all these rainbow colors and it would shine really bright. That's light. That is light reflecting from the sun on the mirror. That is how light technology works. So when you place this patch on your body, which by the way, did you know our bodies actually emit a low level grade of infrared light? So cops at night, they have those night vision goggles.
Right.
And I always wondered, like, what do they see with these goggles? Like, are they magic or how can they see people? Well, they can see people because we glow. So when they're looking in these goggles, they actually can see glowing people. That is how they can see people through these night vision goggles. So our body emits a low level infrared light all over. And when you put this patch technology on you, our light is reflecting off of what appears to be a crystal-like structure in this patch. And it's going to bounce or reflect off of that patch a light wave into our body. What does that light wave do? This specific light wave is going to activate our GHK copper peptide. That peptide is the largest peptide in our body, and it does so much stuff. So back in the 70s, a doctor by the name of Dr. Lauren Picard discovered GHK copper peptide. You can go on Amazon, you can buy his book, talks about how he discovered it, what it does, why it's so amazing. I have a dear friend, Dr. John Harmon. He recently wrote a book, How to Reverse Aging with GHK copper peptide. Kind of just the newer version of what Dr. Lauren Picard did back in the 70s. And plus more science and information has been discovered, over the last 50 years. Great books, great information, great just facts, proven facts that they've discovered. So what does GHK copper peptide do for our body, right? Because that's what our patent to this technology says it does. It elevates GHK copper peptide. Okay. So I'm going to run down just a couple of things of what this peptide does. So it helps your skin and your hair, right? It protects your lungs. What are fast-growing cells, right? We're not going to say the C word, right? Or the radiation and the chemo, but those fast-growing cells, it stops them. It repairs your brain and your nerves, antioxidant power. But most importantly, is it activates your stem cells.
Wow.
So we're not talking about a patch that's giving you stem cells. We're talking about a patch that is a light technology that activates our GHK copper peptide. And the hugest benefit is that peptide turns on our stem cells. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. What does that mean? So in the first few days, this technology is going to reset over 4,000 genes in your body.
Wow.
Within 4 weeks, this army of stem cells that have been dormant in your body, they all of a sudden start waking up, being like, oh, hey, let me back out, right? So now they're going to recreate themselves. They're going to wake them up. Within 6 weeks, our brain, it rebalances itself. It absolutely rebalances our brain. Within 3 months, our collagen increases. Many people don't know what collagen does, right? Like a lot of women do, right? Because we take collagen and we want to get rid of our wrinkles and, look younger. Collagen is the structure of our body. It is the structure of our body. Collagen protects our heart, your lungs, our blood cells, our blood vessels. It's without collagen, we would be like almost like a melting snowman, right? Like we just wouldn't be anything. There's no structure to hold us together. And as we age, that's part of the aging process. Our collagen breaks down and we lose it. Do you imagine rebuilding it by using a light technology? Within 6 months, reduces your heart age. So our cardiovascular system, for every day that you utilize this light technology, your cardiovascular system becomes 1 1/3 day younger.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Just incredible. I mean, I can't, again, I'm sharing facts with you. I'm sharing what the studies have been done. That's why I'm super grateful for my friend, Dr. John Harmon, who wrote this book, How to Reverse Aging, that you can find on Amazon, because everything in there talks about what the copper peptide does, what the stem cells do. And that is what this patch technology allows our body to do itself. Genius. What do you think?
There does seem to be, I've heard a lot of people gaining kind of that, I don't know, speaking of it, kind of like the fountain of youth, and, their white gray hairs go back to their youthful color and fullness and skin and all these kind of vanity things. I know it's nice to see that and hear those type of things because we're such visual creatures. But what more importantly for me and those struggling with a chronic illness, like that just begins to tell and kind of show someone like me in the position where there hasn't been just this great turnaround since I've been on it, but I can see how, even though I trip up, and I'm human and I do also have head trauma, things of that nature, I do see more clarity. I do see things regulating more in my life. And I have been more steadily trending in the right direction. So that's where it's like, I want to fight tooth and nail to, be able to financially and keep on it. But like you said, for it to hold the potential of in and of itself shipping things like it has for you and for so many at the price of a coffee a day, it's just, there's a minimum amount of even giving this a shot in my eyes that it's worth
kind
it.
Kind of a no-brainer, right?
It's just worth it. I mean, everyone, I do like to have everyone just, hey, pray about it, but do your due diligence, do your research, look into the personal stories and the breakthroughs. For me, one of the questions kind of became as you're explaining everything there, I was like, I wonder, because with stem cell regeneration and that firing up with all the layers to Lyme, I just wonder, I know stem cell growth could really address the majority of things, but I wonder if there's a layer to the spirochete itself that, the stem cell growth can't eradicate that little critter, right? Or whatever you want to call it, just that spirochete. So it's assisting the body in huge ways, but there's potentially other things to be done to knock that out, or potentially mold. Has there been anything discovered that you know of that, let's say, stem cells assist but aren't eradicating? There's a lot of nastiness, kind of intentional weaponry, if you will, happening in our lives today that are just poisonous and toxic to our body. So in my eyes, I guess naturally my thought kind of goes to detoxifying the body, trying to get the foreign things out, such as spirochetes, such as metals, such as molds. And even though this can potentially assist with some of that, it might be crucial. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here to really successfully eradicate those things for this really to have that breakthrough, like in my situation, to potentially now parallel your breakthrough.
Right. And for the listeners out there, James, have you been doing the technology for a couple of months, I think, right?
Yes. We still, I think, have a couple more months to really give it a full shake. But so I'm still in the throes of it.
And like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the first 24 hours, you reset over 4,000 genes. Like, it is working on you, right?
Wow.
But again, how do stem cells work? They know what your body needs. And so it's fixing something, whatever is the most important thing for your body right now to survive. That is what it's working on first. That is the beauty of stem cells. They know what to do. They're the smartest cell in our body, right? So I believe, both my Lyme doctors believe, the majority of the population has Lyme disease, but they don't know it because they don't have symptoms. Why don't they have symptoms? Why do they affect people like you and I, right? Because their immune system is up and strong, and they have a strong, healthy foundation.
See,
Okay.
what's wild, even over 30 years of my life, being misdiagnosed or undiagnosed, my immune system did a pretty darn good job. To most people, seemed like a healthy young lad or a little boy. And for the most part, I was. But when things went chronic and as I've learned about Lyme, I can reflect back. And I got 5 other siblings. And I can look and see definitively as to how it actually hindered, because even with a thriving immune system, I had special ed. I had issues getting up. There were quite a few, like even raging issues within me, and inflammation and pain in my body that was just chalked up as growing pains and things of that nature on levels that none of my other siblings experienced. So it's wild. For some, these side effects may be so minuscule that it just isn't seemingly that big of an issue, but it is a ticking time bomb nonetheless. But even for those that, like, I'm trying to grasp and capture, like with my particular situation, even my childhood would have benefited to start addressing this sooner versus later, for neurological reasons, for physical pain reasons, and things like that. So I just want, on that note, people to consider genuinely with that fact of, because I'm right there with you, I believe more people have it, especially in this country, than don't, where we start taking the possibility more serious, and minimally get behind awareness and minimally get behind researching and looking into and get some testing even yourself. And I don't know if you've heard, but this AO scan I just did was really in depth at a very affordable cost. And I did it through Unchained Wellness, and we've been plugging them. So if you happen to be in Arizona, check them out. You could schedule with them. But this technology seems to be used all over. But it, to me, seemed to be thousands of dollars of blood work in a singular setting that you got the information simultaneously. So it seems to be a very big blessing.
Yeah, and that's all, energy testing. But, going back to when I got bit, right? I got bit in 2004. I immediately got a bullseye rash. So immediately I'm infected with Lyme disease. I've got Lyme disease. Unfortunately, I didn't know what a bullseye rash meant, right, at the time. And so I went about my life. 4 years later, man, I had some emotional trauma that I went through. And I believe that is what suppressed my immune system. Boom. And the Lyme was able to run rampant through my body. So I lay dormant for 4 years. And so that's what happens with, millions of people out there, is they are infected with Lyme because it's almost next to impossible not to be. But they don't have effects from it because their immune system is so strong. Well, by activating our copper peptides, by turning on these stem cells, right? Like you asked earlier, can it kill off these spirochetes? Obviously the company has not done any research on Lyme disease and this technology, right? But what I can say is that it's boosting our immune system, right? It's repairing things. It's making us strong. If we have a strong foundation, can Lyme survive? Well, we've already discovered that we don't have symptoms from it if we have a strong foundation. That's why so many of us, it lays dormant in our body, right? So I don't know. I mean, I have a few people that were treating Lyme and they decided this was the technology, the tool they were going to utilize next. And guess what? Lo and behold, they're symptom free. I don't know. What was it? Like, you decide, right? Wow. So let me just share briefly with you and the listeners what this technology has done for me. Okay. So at one point in my journey, the beginning of my journey, I went undiagnosed for 7 years. I ended up bedridden. I had a caregiver and I didn't even know my name. My father would come over every month and pay my bills because I didn't know what a checkbook was. I look at this check and it's like this foreign object. I had post-it notes throughout my house. I had one on my bathroom mirror that said, brush my teeth. Like I
Wow.
didn't even know how to live my life. I was so affected neurologically and physically. I tend to be an overachiever. So, some people get the pain aspects of Lyme, some people get the neurological aspects of Lyme. I get it
Yeah.
all because I just overachieve that way, right? So I
I'm
had a
with
little
you, I
bit of
think there. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of everything. And, it's
Wow.
because of this journey, and because of being uneducated and not knowing what a bullseye rash was, and because over my 13-year journey, it cost me $1 million out of pocket. Like for just all these reasons together, that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm such an advocate in the Lyme community. I ran a nonprofit for about 5 years. I meet with Congress every year for the last 5 years, trying to get more funding for research and testing and treatments. I started a Facebook group with a dear friend about 4.5 years ago, Lyme Conquerors Mentoring Lyme Warriors. We've done many, many Zoom calls on, free tips to treat and detox and all the stuff. And then, like you said, I have my weekly podcast, Lyme and Beyond. And that's just why I do it, right? Like this is such a horrible disease. It's a lot of people don't acknowledge it. A lot of people don't recognize it. I get it. Like looking back on my journey, one day I can't move my arms, but the next day I can't walk and my arms are fine. Like we truly sound crazy, right? Like it
Yeah.
it makes no sense how our bodies react to this. And so I get it. Like we sound like hypochondriacs. I get it. We sound crazy, but there's too many millions of people out there that struggle this journey
Yeah.
that it's real, right? You
Right.
need that validation. And one of the hardest things too is to try to get your friends and family on board that there really is a problem, right? Like it's
Yeah.
truly the pandemic now.
A true epidemic. I mean, that's where I love it's a blessing to have those documentaries like Under Our Skin, The Monster Inside Me, my favorite. Well, they're all good. I can't even choose favorites, but one of the ones I found most informational was The Quiet Epidemic.
Yeah.
And education's key. It's really hard for people to understand something they're not experiencing. And it's so hard, especially for someone with Lyme that has having neurological impacts to even explain it. And then for anyone that is dealing with these issues to even vulnerably really open up, it's really hard. And that is crucial that family, a support structure does get built around anyone suffering with this because to be made
Because it
out to be
sucks. It's a nightmare.
to be made out to be the issue when clearly you could call it a bioweapon or clearly a disease. This fibrous substance is in fact wreaking havoc on your system. It is not the individual. It is not the individual. It's what's happening within their body. And when that just gets deleted, that gets extracted, that gets fixed, life is back in the person. No one's conjuring up those physical pains, the lack of function, the mono-esque symptoms, the headaches, the cognitive difficulties. I genuinely couldn't talk. I also was bedridden. Like, I'm an active guy. Are you kidding me? That's one of the things we're talking about overachiever in comparison to a lot of my siblings. It's like my body knew subconsciously that I had to eat healthier than all my other siblings, that I had to be more physical than my other siblings because it was fighting something. And inevitably, like you, life happened, emotional things, certain things happened that suppressed my immune system that put me in a fight or flight. So my immune system basically shuts down, and then Lyme runs rampant, and you inevitably end up losing on this level. Like, you don't have to get to this chronic state to where it actually becomes more difficult to eradicate. So we're not here trying to just fearmonger. We're genuinely here to try to create more solutions for people to help, whether they're in the midst of battle or not, hopefully even avoid it entirely. But it's really tricky, Tanya, because how do we, in today's day and age, I find it very difficult to articulate the words in such a way where people take it serious. It's kind of like the fast food. You tell them it's poison, but yet they'll continually go to McDonald's and until, oh, now they're having cardiovascular issues, or they literally have grown their body to the point they can't even physically get off the couch. It's like,
Yeah, it's a sad world. And they have that old phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right?
Right.
Like,
That's the point.
we only got one body. We've got to take care of it. We've got to fuel it with great nutrition, which is hard, right? Like, they say it's good, but really when you dive into it, it's not good, or it's full of parasites, or like, it's a confusing world out there. And then we've got, toxic products that we're washing our hair with, putting on our skin as deodorants. And then you've got the environmental talk. Like, there's so much against us, right? Yes. We're humans. We can't be perfect, but what we can do is do the best we can do, right? There's bad things out there, everything in moderation. You have to be more proactive in this world today than reactive, right? For sure. And so for those of you, that are listening that maybe don't have Lyme disease, right? Like James's UNMUZZLED CHAT podcast, it's a lot about Lyme disease, but it's a lot about everything, right? So you've got a wide variety of listeners out there, which is incredible. And what do you want to prevent? Do you want to prevent the aging process? When you get old, do you want to remember who your spouse is, right? Or do you not? Like, these are the things that we need to think about if we're outside of the chronic illness point, right? What do you want to do to protect your life, to protect your aging, to actually reverse your aging, right? Wow. And so that brings me to what I started to mention earlier. I want to share a little bit about my personal testimonial with this technology. Okay. And I thought of it again when I said reverse your aging, because I don't want to forget to tell you about my liver. But anyways, so I reach remission from Lyme disease, right? My 13-year battle. I get in remission. I had so much damage. Just right about this time, I was literally standing on my tippy toes, reaching for something in my kitchen cabinet, and I tore my Achilles tendon. Like, how does that happen? Well, it happens when you have years of damage of the spirochetes just eating away at your body, right? And that's what happened to me. I had a lot of foundational work to rebuild and rebuild back up. So being in remission, I still had chronic pain in my hips and my back, mostly, sometimes my elbows, but mostly my hips and my back. I got regular injections in my back. I was on strong opioids. I didn't want to do that journey years ago, but it's what got me through life, right? I didn't know any better. I needed it. And so I was still in chronic pain, even with those modalities. I had some brain fog. I would lose words at times. I still was on anxiety medication, right? Benzodiazepines. Oh my gosh, they do so much to your body. I didn't know at the time, right? We live and learn. So I was on that for anxiety. I had some fatigue. When you're sick with Lyme, it literally feels like your body's in, quicksand or cement and you're walking, right? Like, that's the type of fatigue. Mine wasn't like that once I reached remission. Mine was, if I was really busy for 3-4 days, on the go, doing stuff, I would need a down day, pajama day, down day, once a week to kind of capture my energy. And I still had inflammation. My ankles and my feet still looked like balloons. What else did I have? I think I had some gut issues. Anyways, so the technology reversed all of my symptoms that I just mentioned.
Now, to mention just real quick, you tried a whole bunch of other things. Didn't you spend around $1 million on?
Oh yeah, my Lyme journey was $1 million out of pocket.
Wow.
And again,
it was
that's
mm-hmm.
why I want to share all about spreading awareness about Lyme disease, right? We need more treatment options. Nobody should have to spend that much to get diagnosed and or to treat, right? So yeah. And so here I thought I'm in remission, but I've got these issues. So it's just going to be part of my life. And I was blessed. I was grateful. I knew my name. I could drive. I could do stuff. But I didn't have my life back, right? Like the pain was huge for me. And so to be able to use a technology that costs $100 a month, right?
Yeah.
To have me symptom free is mind blowing. I also, for those of you that are battling Lyme disease, most of us have a mutation called MTHFR. It's a mutation, a DNA gene that you are born with. Most people never even know you have it, but it's something when you're diving into trying to figure out what's wrong with you, you often get some different testing done. And that is one thing that pops up. There's two sides to it. I only am familiar with one of them because I only had one. And the one that I had was the one where my body doesn't know how to detox well, right? So I got to make modifications there. It also doesn't allow our body to methylate, especially B vitamins.
Wow.
I think that actually played a huge role in why I miscarried my baby at 5 months in utero, was because I had this mutation that I didn't know about. And so here I am taking, folic acid, like you're supposed to do, all these prenatal vitamins. But because my body didn't know how to methylate, it wasn't turning it into the form that I needed to protect this embryo. What I can tell you is I no longer have MTHFR.
Get out of here.
It's gone. Now, can I say the patch made it go away? I can't say or not say. Did I do anything different? No. So I'm going to believe what I'm going to believe. And I randomly had it tested. I was not checking for it. I did some DNA testing last fall. And I was literally, my pages are like this thick of all the reports and everything.
Right.
And I was scrolling through it and my eye stopped when it said MTHFR and it said none detected. Like I was mind blown. Like that is huge.
Do you have any idea how long into your patch journey you had that non-existence of that gene? Do you know? Was that roughly a year?
I don't know when it went away. Last fall, I was on the patches for about 2 years and 3 months when I got tested. So sometime within 2 years and 3 months, that gene disappeared.
That's incredible. Because the AO scan I just went through, I have that freaking genetic, whatever you want to call it, that came up.
Yeah, a lot of us do. And that's what makes it harder to detox and treat Lyme because we have this mutation, right? And so it's pretty incredible. A couple other things that have happened. So July 1st this year, so just last week, I've been on this technology for 3 years. Last fall also, I did some random blood work and my kidney panel my liver panel, which I had fatty liver for many years. My liver was kind of abused with all the things I did during Lyme, right? The narcotics and all the
antibiotics.
Stuff. My liver panel is, I no longer have fatty liver. And my numbers are those of somebody in their 20s.
So you not only have a personal story which some might be like, because and it is healthy to question things, right? But you have scientific data now personally that supports this leading to health for you. And many others do as well. That's where I'm excited to see for myself to do this bare minimum we came up with, which once again, it is a no-brainer for me. I'm just excited. I know there's something to it. I know it's not all phooey. And
yeah, for sure. I mean, the proof is here. Like I am the proof. Something totally outside of Lyme disease. When I was about late teens, 20, somewhere in there, I got this, the doctors called it a paralyzed throat. So what happened was one day I couldn't swallow. Like it stopped. I couldn't swallow, whether it was saliva, water, food, like it wouldn't happen. And it only lasted seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute, maybe two, like not long, right? And then all of a sudden it kind of opened up and I swallowed. And I was like, what the heck was that? Right. Well, it kept doing it. And so, I went to the doctor, did all these tests, and they said, you have this paralyzed throat. We might be able to go in and stretch your esophagus. And maybe that would help. And I was like, nah, I think I'm good. Like, now that I know what it is, I'm not going to die, right? Like, it just will happen and I'll wait it out a few seconds or a minute and it'll go away. And so I've had it for 30 years. I don't have it anymore. I haven't had it for, I don't know how long, but about maybe a year ago, I discovered, I can't remember the last time that happened. And so,
oh, wow.
Is it the patch technique? Who knows, right? We activate our stem cells. Our stem cells do all sorts of things. And another part of not my personal story, but my little baby girl, my little fur baby, Miss Molly, she is a little purebred 6-pound Chihuahua. She's 9.5 years old. And about 5 years ago, she had, there was kind of a little bit of commotion with a couple of dogs while she was sitting on my lap. And so I raised her up real quickly just to get her out of the midst, right? Well, one of the dog's claws clawed her eye. And so I took her to the vet, and the vet said, no, we're going to have to remove her eye. She's lost her eyesight. And I thought, oh my gosh, my baby girl, I don't want her to have one eye. Is there anything I can do? And they're like, well, if we leave this in, it can get infected. It can run bacteria through her body, and it could kill her. And I said, can we try anything? And so the vet said, okay. So over the next 6 weeks, I had my dog in the vet 3 times a week. Yeah, it was very expensive. But she's my little baby, right? And so I thought, if I could save her eye, I'm going to do whatever I can. Drops around the clock, antibiotics, all the stuff. And I saved her eye, but she lost her eyesight. But that's okay, because looking at her, you wouldn't know, right? Although if you looked closely, her one eye was completely just a cloud. But she still had it in her socket, right? And that made me happy. And so I patched my dog. Dogs have stem cells, right? Any living being has stem cells. Plants have stem cells. It's amazing. My dog got her eyesight back. I took her to the vet last year. That is. And what was crazy is I didn't start patching her for her eyesight because it didn't cross my mind. I forget that she can only see out of one eye, right? Like, I just forget because she's been this way for 5 years. She's a Chihuahua, so they're known to have this luxating patella in their back legs where they go out of joint, and then she's able to pop them back in. And a couple times a year, I have on hand from the vet a pain med and anti-inflammatory. And a couple times a year, I give them to her when I can see she's struggling. That was what I was patching her for. And something happened one day. I'm looking in her eyes, and I thought, why does her eye look so different? I don't see this film over it. And I got to thinking, oh my gosh, did the patch do something? So I took her to the vet last fall, I think it was. And I've only lived in Idaho from California, for the last 5 years after the fire. And so this vet is familiar with my dog for the last 5 years. She knows she's blind in one eye. And she goes, Tanya, I'm looking at the notes and you want to be seen. You want to know if your dog can see now? And I was like, I know. She goes, I don't even know why you're asking that. That is just so random. And I said, well, is there a way to tell? She goes, oh, absolutely. Sure enough, she goes, your dog has perfect vision, can absolutely see. She goes, what did you do? And I told her about this technology. And guess what? She thought I was nuts. She thought I was nuts. But here's my proof, right? Like, it's crazy. A good friend of mine was in kidney disease, kidney failure. And talked to her, told her, the patch, the amazing technology. Again, the patch isn't fixing anything. The patch is sending a light wave to your body to turn it on, right? So it's your body fixing things. And I told her, I said, there's your body can reverse things on its own. That's God designed it that way, given the right tools. I believe this patch technology is the tool. And so I said, why don't you give it a try? And so she did. And, every couple of weeks, every couple of months, she'd text me, this patch isn't doing anything. I'm not having any more energy. I'm not feeling any better. I'm not nothing. And I go, it takes time. Like we know you are in kidney disease, right? It takes time. It's not a Band-Aid. It is truly reversing your ailment. Anyways, long story, about 7-8 months in, I get a phone call from her and her kidneys are perfect. Amazing. She no longer has kidney disease.
Wow.
These stories, I can go on and on, right?
They're coming out daily, right?
Daily.
Because you've
got somebody
such
with
a big
MS
network
in a wheelchair, right? They've been in a wheelchair their whole life. They're running on the beach. Like, it's there. The science is there. The testimonials are there. I've got a Facebook group. It's called Lyme and Light Therapy. For all you listeners out there, join it, right? Join it. Be sure to put on there how you heard about that page. Put James's podcast or UNMUZZLED Chat because we're on there. I share testimonials every day. You can read the science. You can get the answers to any and all of your questions on there. Tag me, tag James in there, ask away, whatever you have.
Great source.
This technology, like you said earlier, James, you went to your doctor and they're wearing the patches. It's every time I turn around, I work with a lot of Lyme people and somebody says, oh my gosh, my massage therapist had the patch on. I was sharing with a friend from the gym the other day and she called me later that afternoon. She goes, oh my gosh, Tanya, I left you after you telling me about this technology because she struggles with some issues. She met one of her best friends for coffee and she was wearing the patch. She's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. It's coming out, right? It's only been around, company 20 years, technology with us 20 years, but this specific patch, not quite 5 years. So it is not long. We are going to be in 1 billion homes and it's an amazing feeling to be able to be a small part of changing somebody's life like that. So truly incredible technology.
So it's crazy because I could have my roommates on, I could have my family on, I could have many people attest to. I'm so glad you actually even brought up your dog because my dog Moose here tore her ACL the other year. Poor thing, and I had another dog before that tore an ACL that was whimpering but Moose here is just tough. She didn't care. You could just tell she could be a 3-legged dog for the rest of her life. She'd be just fine. But there was a sad threat looming that the majority of muscular dogs such as her, now with that extreme extra load on her other leg, usually within a year, that one goes as well. Now they're in a world of hurt. But I did end up driving a substantial distance to meet a more holistic, even animal doctor, because we ended up doing the surgery on the dog before, and it just ended up problematic. And I don't want to go, it was horrific. And since Moose here wasn't emitting all that pain, I was just, hey, what seeking counsel, like, could it potentially heal on its own? And she said, yes, I've been successful, but your dog, obviously, it looks like it's going to be difficult because you got to minimize, you got to do these stretchings, you got to do these things. Well, the whole point as to why I bring this up is, man, I might not have the testimony built personally, like with the breakthroughs as of yet for me. I already mentioned, honestly, like how I have been tracking in the right direction. And that's the thing. I really feel without it, it wouldn't be as structured, because before, more wild roller coaster. Now, I'll admit, I only did 2 things for Moose, other than, some mild stretches and then minimize some of her movement. But the thing is, it wasn't getting better. If anything, it was worsening. She was using it less and less, that leg. So I started using the Centropics frequency mat on her, putting it on like the healing type thing, folding it up, and she seemed to lay there content, enjoying it. It didn't bother her, which surprised me, because you can't just go plop yourself and lay on her. She'll be like, get off me sometimes. But anyway, but then I started patching. And what's crazy, everyone, I mentioned my roommates, my family, they could attest to you, her healing, like there was just a 180. And she's using her leg. She's actually now getting muscle tone back, which tells me that there's been repair to the actual tendon. And I don't think it's fully there yet, but I'm glad. The whole reason I'm glad you mentioned it is I've gotten to a point where I've kind of just expended my patches of the day, and I haven't been relocating them on her for a while now. And I'm going to start doing that continuously.
Absolutely.
Because something like, even that gal told me it took her dog over a year and a half or something to repair naturally and regrow like the tendon in her dog. Clearly something to this mat, something to this patch that has done that. So, oh my gosh.
It's in the mat, it's a light technology. Our bodies are electrical, light. Everything is going to the light therapy, whether these traditional doctors want to agree or not, right? Like it is. But I will say that, most of you guys out there, if you're a fur baby lover, like you probably take better care of your pets than you take of yourself, right? We do have an actual patch for a pet. It's called AccuLife. But here's the thing, is that you can take, again, this is just what a lot of patch wearers have been doing. No scientific study from the company, just our own experience. But I will take my patch off at night and I will put it on my dog the next day. So I'm not paying to patch her. She's just getting my leftover, and it still worked. And what I do is I have these little patch holders. It slides right onto her collar, and I stick the yeast patch in there and put it right on her collar. You can absolutely stick it right on their skin, their fur, whatever, right? But this just works for me because
I need to get one of those.
Yeah. How big is your dog? Because the collar can't be too awfully big for this.
No, it's not too big. They're pretty thin. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I need to get some.
So maybe she's a girl, but I'll pop one of these in the mail to you, James. They're great.
Oh my gosh.
They're great. Yeah. But pat your dogs, pat your fur babies. Many testimonials on those as well. I mean, they take it to the vet. They're like, the dog needs to, be put down. It's its time. It's lived its life. And I can't tell you how many hundreds of people they stick a patch on, and this dog is a puppy again. It's incredible. Wow. It's a technology that definitely needs to be looked into by any and all, right? Lyme disease, chronic illness, or those that are healthy that just want to stay healthy and reverse their age, right? Like it's the science is all there. So I want to throw out quickly before we end, I want to make sure I throw out some websites for you guys. So
yes, all the links. So you did mention the Lyme and Light Therapy. They could simply search that on Facebook, but we'll be sure all these links we mentioned, we'll add them down below too. But go ahead and share all the sources you got.
So find us on Lyme and Light Therapy on Facebook. That is, I share testimonials. I share tons of information. I share Lyme information, patch information. I share it all, right? Great resource. And also, if you want to do some research on your own, you can go to startx39.com. That's a website that my team has created for people to go on. You can see pictures, visual pictures of somebody with a curvature in their spine and it's no longer. Somebody cut their finger off and the doctor says, I can't sew it on, it will die. Well, they convinced the doctor to sew it on. It died. And 2 months later, it's like new again. The technology's incredible. Check out James's website, lifewave.com/unmuzzled chat. All sorts of resources. Reach out to James, reach out to me. Let us share this technology with you. Let us figure out how we can get you started on it. Yeah. Pretty incredible. James, yeah. I love what you're doing. For the listeners out there, I don't know, time flies, right? But a handful of months ago, James was kind enough to reach out and have me on this podcast just to share my personal Lyme journey, right? So if you want to hear what I went through, look that up. You can hear, I'm not talking about I do or don't know what you're going through, because I do. I lived it, right? So you don't get it till you get it. And I had it. So I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate this platform to share this information. It's just tools in our toolbox, right? That's what we need. Tools is power.
Well, we just appreciate you showing up here again, selflessly, to just talk frankly about a product and a solution that benefited your life gravely and clearly still to this day, and your dogs and so many you come in contact with. It's got to be very fulfilling work. It can be challenging work because sometimes, these products, people will look at you like you got three heads, and it's just doing your due diligence to understand. It's really hard for us to become our own doctors in a sense, but the reality of it is it's a lot better to do our own research than just totally blindly and trust in some white lab coat somewhere, not even knowing his background, not even knowing who he is as a person. Like that to me is what's insane. So reach out. All the information is right here. So thank you so much for coming and joining us again and just really giving us more so a deep dive in some of the science. It's been helpful even to me, because I didn't really fully grasp before as to how it really worked. You did a quick enough, good enough explanation. I more so ran off of it based on the testimonies alone for me to give it a go. I was like, okay, well, at minimum, what kind of commitment would I be looking at financially and this and that? And is it within my budget to give it a go? And yes, my life is freaking worth it. So I'm at least going to dedicate to that time. And we're in the throes of that. And there have been benefits. There have been. I look forward to the future. We will see with time regarding me. But for anyone else out there to look into it, even for, I know you mentioned this Navy SEALs. I mean, there's just athletes, fitness gurus that are looking to break through next levels. To consider this is propelling you forward. Anything that enhances our quality of life, I believe, especially here in America, we need it so gravely yesterday, because we've idly sat by. We've been sickened to a point that we've allowed like this country to deteriorate around us, and our future is very bleak and unknown. Like that in and of itself becomes proof as to how much we have been diminished, demoralized on individual levels. And I look at Tanya here, and she's got this energy. She's got this light. I don't want to say I envy, but I strive to achieve for myself. And I hope all of you listeners feel that light and have that motivation, whether it's this product, any product. Just start taking steps in the right direction. But clearly, do not discredit what she brought up here. And at minimum, join that Facebook group and you can see what I saw for yourself. And that's where you can make informed decisions. So thank you so much for joining us, Tanya. I look forward to more connections even in the future.
Yeah, it's been great. I appreciate it. And just to recap what you said, like it's time to take our health into our own hands. It just
Yes,
is,
it is.
right? We've got to do it. We've watched the world around us crumble, and if you don't, you're going to crumble down, right? We've got to be proactive in our health.
Yes.
This technology may be for you, may not be for you. It's okay, right? We're just here to share it with you. We have something that could change people's lives, and we want to share it. If it's not you, if you don't think outside the box, if you're not into this holistic healing, if you have yet discovered that your body can heal its own, with given the right tools, that's okay. No harm, no foul, no shame, right? But at least do your due diligence, check it out, right? And like we said, any kind of issue you have, you Google it, right? You think you're dying, this and that. Google is not our friend, right? There's bad information out there on Lyme
100%.
disease, right? There's wrong information on Lyme disease.
100%.
So go into the website,
Yes.
look at the science, look at the facts. We have outside doctors, outside scientists that has nothing to do with their company that have done these clinical studies.
Yes. It's
there. Just make sure you go to the right place for the right information. So thanks, James. As always, super fun to chat with you. Super happy to be able to get this information out there because people need it.
100%.
People need it. So I appreciate you.
It's my honor to have you, Tanya. Appreciate you showing up again. Listeners, I hope this breathes some light into your life. It's just time for action. So let's go. We genuinely just want to provide solutions that actually improve the quality of your life. So question becomes, is this for you? We've given you the sources to look into it. I always advise, take it to our creator.
Put it in God's hand. God leads the right way, right? He leads us where we need to go.
100%. Just like Tanya said, it's time to take life into our own hands. So let's start taking steps in the right direction. And I know we can support each other in doing this and really hone in on the solutions together. Help us spread awareness on Lyme disease, this horrific epidemic around us, so we can build out the solutions for those that are suffering. We appreciate you. We love you and can't wait to connect soon. God bless you. God bless America. Till next time, take care.